So I just spoke for about a good 30 minutes and apparently was not recording. I don't think I'm gonna use these earbuds anymore because Siri tends to get in my business, and I heard him and I thought that he did not stop my video, but apparently he did, which is really rude. So now I have to recount everything that I just said, and it's not gonna be so fresh and new, but I will do it anyways. So I started off with saying sorry. Oh, welcome to the Sankofa Podcast YouTube video. I'm your host, Silverstein Davis, and I wanted to thank everyone who's been continuing to watch my videos. I appreciate all of the feedback, positive and negative. Did you want me to do something with that? My dog just picked up her ball and brought it to me. I think she needs me to throw it. Excuse me while I throw this ball. Oh, you don't want me to throw it. You just want me to see you chewing it. Okay, cool. You do that. Just kidding. She just wants to chew it. So that was the other thing that I said before, was that my dog is sick. I said that in my previous video. I say we, but honestly, it's just me and whatever people have been following me on social network. Her vet, I'm sorry, it's just, I said all this already and I don't want to do it again, but did such a good job and now I'm probably won't. Never mind. I'm gonna do great. Stop that negative self-talk. Right at this point, her vet is saying that it's cancer until proven otherwise. So I spent, with lots of help, I did not spend this money by myself, about $1,000 to get her tested. We were able to gather that her liver is enlarged. I could not afford to get more testing done to find out why it's enlarged. Like I said, her vet said she's calling it liver cancer until proven otherwise. In a couple of days, we have a meeting to go, or an appointment to go and get more testing done to find out if it's otherwise. Praying that it's anything other than cancer. It would be a miracle for me to be able to afford cancer treatment. Anything else, I feel like I can handle. It's so funny now. It's like all these sounds here. It was so quiet for the last 30 minutes. I also made a little public service announcement for the pet parents out there. If you have a friend whose pet is going through something terminal, even with all the well-wishing in the world, don't say to them, they had a great life, because they're not dead yet. And that's rude. Imagine if, say, your mom was in the hospital with a terminal ailment and someone said, she had a great life. That's not really a compliment, is it? I know people are well-meaning when they say that, but it doesn't feel well-meaning. It feels like you've written off my pet. And like I said, I speak for all pet parents, because there's a reason the word fur baby exists, because we think of them as our baby. If you want me to throw it, just give me the freaking ball and I'll throw it. Okay, but you gotta give it to me. Stop playing. Oh my gosh. I would show you guys by turning the camera around, but then I'd have to readjust the camera and it's too much work. And I also apologized before in the video. She just like threw the ball in my hand and then took it back right away, because whatever. I said in the previous video that sorry that these videos are not edited, but editing is coming in the future. So I got a lot of feedback about, hey, you really should edit your videos. It's great content, but it needs editing. Yeah, if anyone wants to volunteer to edit it and get done sooner, appreciate it. Yeah, so some people treat their dogs like farm animals. Most people treat their dogs like parts of their family. So if your kid was in the hospital and someone said, he had a good life, you gave him a good life, that wouldn't really be acceptable. Anyways, save your condolences for when it's time for condolences. Okay, and what else did I want to say? Oh my gosh, this dog is really just doing the most. Okay, now she is, I wish I could show you guys her face. She's like, she has put the ball really close to me and she is staring at me. And this is how she says, throw her damn ball. Whatever. I have to throw this ball, excuse me. This ball is kind of gross. Good catch. Okay. So the reason I have not been doing videos like I said I would every other day is because mostly my dog stuff, and I've just been working overtime trying to raise money, you know, get money to pay for her everything. It's been really stressful. Excuse me, I have been under a tremendous amount of stress, and I don't have as strong of a support system as I would like. And I'm not talking financially, I'm talking like as far as just relationships near me that cushion some of life's blows. I don't get me wrong, I don't want my friends to be like, excuse you. I have some amazing people in my freaking life. But I'm also in this city with just me and my dog and like 2 relatives that are not dog people, but I love them still. I'm trying to remember everything I said in my last video. So I wanted to do this video to talk about 2 things: telling your story and forgiveness. I got a lot of, when I first started, so that's what I said. When I first started the podcast, I gave a little, like a FYI PSA to some of the key players in my life saying, hey, I'll be talking about my trauma, my childhood trauma. And I just want to give you guys a heads up. I got a couple different responses. I got a sorry for any pain, hurt that I caused you, any way that I harmed you. Please forgive me, you know, love you. Go ahead, tell your story. Hopefully your story can help others. I also got some, I will sue you if you mention me or anybody like me. And I got a lot of people just thinking that I wanted to just like it was an attack, like I'm creating a podcast to attack my abusers. It's not like a tell-all, though I do intend to share more stories in the future. My purpose in telling about my abuse, I made a post on Instagram that not in detail, but basically said that when I was 8 years old, I was sexually molested by my stepfather, and that the adults around me, there was no one who protected me. The abuse actually went on for years. And I say that not to gather pity or empathy, or I don't say it for your sorries. I say it because I want you to know that there's stories out there. And like I said in my first video, 70% of the world population has had at least one adverse childhood experience. 70%, that's a lot. 30% have had more than, I think it was 2 to 3, and then like 20% have had 4 or more. And when you get into that more than 3, these adverse childhood experiences have real physical and physiological implications on your health and well-being, both mental and physical. And so I am not saying this to demonize or point fingers or blame or any of that to anybody. In fact, every abuser, even my stepdad, I have forgiven them. And I hold no grudges. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry that it's like, she wasn't throwing me her ball earlier, and I cannot deny her. Also, it was much quieter earlier, and I'm also like trying to recalibrate after having thought that I did this successful, great video to find out that not really. Totally didn't even do the video at all. Darn. But yeah, so today's message is tell your story and forgive your accusers. Why is it important to tell your story? You need to get it out of you. That is important. If you have never told anyone what has happened to you, whatever you've been carrying, tell a loved one. If you have it, tell a therapist. If you can, get a therapist. If there are no loved ones and no therapy options, journal it down and talk to yourself in the mirror. It needs to come out through your mouth. It needs to be said. You need to go through that. It needs to be given out. And then also forgiveness. You need to forgive them, not for them, but for you, for yourself, so that you can move on, because holding grudges, anger, it anchors you to that place, that situation, that purpose. You need to cut that, and you cut that with forgiveness. I am a Christian, so I believe in God as the creator of the universe. I believe in Jesus. I believe in angels. I believe in demons or bad angels. That's just me. I don't push my beliefs on anyone else. I say this to say the next thing. It helps you so much with every step of the healing process to have a higher power. If you don't have a higher power, if you don't believe in having a higher power, I highly encourage you to get one. I know that there are like some Christians, monotheists out there who are like higher power, universe, sacrilegious. But I've studied in detail many religions, from Hinduism to Islam, in detail. I studied Islam for so long. Some of my peers are surprised when I tell them I'm not a Muslim. I just know a lot because I studied it a lot, all of it. The pillars, the Quran, the hadiths, all of that. So even took Arabic at a mosque in high school. So whatever your higher power is, lean on them. Give it to them. It's not yours to carry. Give me a second. I'm actually really happy that she's down to play right now. Yeah, give it to your higher power. Get it out and give it up, because you don't need it. It doesn't serve you. Anger, shame, guilt, those grudges, they're not serving you. They're not fueling you. They're weighing you down. Let it go. Forgive so that you can go forward with your life. I bring up the higher power because it makes forgiveness so much easier. When you know that there is a conscious force in the universe that is perfect love, that is concerned for you, and that no matter what your upbringing was, who your parents were, you were created in love. No matter what your environment or the people around you were saying, you were created in love. And believe that. That is so true. Trust me, it's true. Take my word for it. This universe is a universe of love with all of the bad and negatives. If you want to ask me some questions on it, feel free to DM me. I can prove it to you. I hope that the sound of my dog chewing her ball is not like too much. To me, that is music to my ears, honestly, because she has not been feeling well lately and has not been wanting to play. I also shared a story in my last video that got deleted somehow. And the story is this. I had a conversation with my grandmother a couple days ago. And she mentioned, yeah, you want to do your little telltale podcast thing. And I was like, no. That's not what I was doing this for. This is not a tattletale session. I'm not blaming anybody for anything in my life. I am telling my story so that others know that part of the healing process is telling your story. Not just on a fundamental level, but on a psychological level. Professionals will tell you need to express and give a vocabulary to these things that happen to you. And I spoke to her and I told her, like, this is in no way to try to demonize or blame anybody for anything. I am telling my story so that other people who have been through traumatic experiences not only know that there is someone else who has been through something traumatic as a child, but you should tell it. Tell your story. Tell your story. And amazing, my grandmother says to me, okay, I can see where you're coming from. And she's like, I actually have been carrying with me a grudge against my mother for so long. And I can't even tell her what she did to me because she's gone, she's passed away. And I told my grandma, tell me how can you not talk about this, And she comes from a generation where you definitely don't tell on people in your family when they did something. You don't even bring it to them or to anybody. And she told me her story and something that happened between her and her mother and how deeply it hurt her and affected her. And we cried and we talked, and it was a beautiful thing that started out as a lot of fear of being blamed or shamed, turned into open, honest communication that allowed for healing and connectivity and understanding between one another. And I was able to say to my grandmother, like, I know I'm not your mom, but I'm gonna speak for her. And what I did was wrong, and you didn't deserve that. And I love you, and you are loved, and you are amazing how you overcame every obstacle. And you deserve that respect. You deserve that acknowledgement. And you're obviously not in the same room because everyone's quarantining, so we're on the phone. And I was like, I'm hugging you and love you. And she said, I feel better. I was carrying that for so long. Can you imagine? And she's not the only one. There are many, 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 many people out there who go 10, 20, 50, 60 to their deathbed without getting it out, holding that weight. This weight is physiologically affecting you on a cellular level. You need to get it out. You need to heal. You need to grow. And you will anchor yourself with those situations and people who hurt you if you do not get it out and let it go and forgive. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's the message for today is tell your story. Honestly, one person said, they didn't say it in the comments, they privately messaged me and they were like, to hell with the people who are saying that you shouldn't be telling on people. And yeah, to hell with anyone whose feelings might get hurt, because your job, you're now your parent. You now, as an adult, as an aware individual, it is now your job to Sankofa. Get that child. Go back and get it. That child is your child. You are your child. Treat that child that's on the inside of you like she or he is on the outside of you, and it is your job to protect them. And protection comes in many different forms. Protection means hearing them and believing them and giving validation to their realities and not allowing others to invalidate them in any way. You deserve that. You owe that to yourself. Protection also looks like getting out of bed at a decent hour, going to bed at a decent hour, shutting down the video games or the Netflix, and forcing, just like you would a child. Sometimes, no, it's time to go to bed. You need to go to bed. You need your nap. You need your rest. You're going to be cranky. You know how kids don't get their nap and they're ridiculously cranky? That's still happening. You're just a little older and it manifests itself in different ways, but you still need that sleep. Sometimes taking care of yourself, fighting and protecting yourself is eating your vegetables. Sometimes you gotta say to that little inner child, put down the chips. You've had enough chips. Put down that drink. You've drank enough alcohol. Eat your salad. Eat these greens. Eat these vegetables. Take these vitamins. Sometimes you have to, love is hard love. And sometimes it's, I know you don't want to take a shower, but you can't get your butt in the bathtub and take a shower because I love you and I'm going to make sure I take care of you. So we need to take care of our inner children like they are our children on the outside. Okay? I want to make sure I covered everything. Tell your story. That's so important to get it out. Trust me, it's important. Tell it. If you don't have nobody to tell it to, hit me up on Instagram. I'll listen to you. Sometimes you have to tell me whether you want me to give my input or not. Sometimes you say, hey, Sora, I just want you to listen, don't talk. Because I tend to give my input. Forgiveness. I know it's not easy to forgive. Sometimes you gotta forgive several times a day. And yo, that's real talk. Sometimes you're like, every day you gotta re-forgive, and that's okay. You just do that until you don't have to anymore. I've had to go through that. And if you're in a relationship with people who hurt you before, sometimes offenses keep happening and you just have to keep forgiving. And that's what you do. You keep forgiving. And like I said, you're not forgiving for them. You're forgiving for yourself. Give it up. Give it up to your higher power, God, universe, Allah, whoever is your ancestors. If you're Santerían, give it to the ancestors. Let it go. It's not it's weighing you. Get it off your shoulders so that you can stand up straight. Okay? I love you. Thank you everyone for the feedback. Please share this video if you feel like someone could hear this. Please leave me comments. Also, I wanted to let you know I have a podcast coming out soon. and I will be talking with a doctor of psychology, and we'll be discussing in depth from a professional view some of the things that I've talked about before, as far as like ACEs and the importance of finding good psychological help when you need it and how to go about it. And specifically, she is a Black woman, woo woo, and she's going to talk about how you can find resources for yourself, because sometimes it matters who you're giving your most innermost thoughts and feelings and experiences, and being so vulnerable. Like, culture matters. Sometimes your white therapist, if you're Black or Mexican or Asian, whatever, okay, sometimes you need someone who can relate with you, or someone who at least has some cultural literacy. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. So you can I'll put the link for the podcast here, and then I'll make sure I let you guys know as soon as it's up and ready to go. Really excited about that. And I'm really excited about this little monster here. She just wants the ball. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna show you guys now that I'm done. Hi, monster. Hi. Is this the ball? The ball has been destroyed. Don't judge my dirty room, okay? This ball has been destroyed. Good catch! What a good catch!